Alrighty, welcome to Starmade, and this is a continuation of my mech or mechanoid hand. Today I was just looking at a post that Trekker Joe left on my post about my hand and Star Trek dock. Starmade dock. Man, I'm tired. Anyway, the post he made, he demonstrated his articulated robot hand, and he was using pure logic to make his work, programmable logic. It's really cool. It's a bit smaller than mine. It looked a lot different. But he didn't need mechanics like what I've got here. One thing that I was trying to figure out was how to make like programmable modules that I can quickly swap in and out, and I couldn't see how to quickly do it using his method. I definitely want to use a solid state logic methodology. Don't really want this mechanical business going on. So I had an idea on combining the two ideas I have. So using this mechanical method and the logical method together, but not having any actual moving parts. I came to a compromising idea, and that's to do this. Let's see. See if this works. Now, I need to move this. Why can't I see? Oh. Okay. Right, what I plan to do is use come on brain, Plex stores. Use Plex stores to do the same trick. So let's try this out first. Magical Plex stores. Now, how shall I do this? Well, since I already have a replica over... bugger. That's right, it's not attached to this. Alrighty. Let's just build switches. Building out here somewhere. Oh, I won't. Okay. Now the idea is I would have, this would be like a cartridge where I would have a ton of logic with ands and, oh, wait a minute, I'm doing this wrong. Oh no, what have I done? Right. Okay, so that gives me the periodic or the momentary switching effect. And oh, how do I make this reconnect? Go back here. Alright, hopefully those switches didn't do anything. Cool. So, in theory, I should be able to make the thumb twist by activating this one. Okay, maybe not. Let's do something simple. The tip of the finger. Ah, I know what the problem is. I have not disconnected. What? Oh, thanks. Yeah. Now that I have my alignment, I use docking to the main station for alignment, and then I undock, but I hold the shift key down to stop it from flying away. Because it has a certain amount of weight, it's pretty safe. Okay, let's try it. Alright. So, whoops. Whoopsie daisy. So now in theory I could build a bunch of logic clock activated switching. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it yet, but yeah, that's pretty much where I'm heading. So what I will do is mess around with this for a wee while, and maybe I'll record it and speed it up so that you don't have to see the whole drama, and maybe play some music. So yeah, I'll start here. Okay, well, that was a bit of a mistake, and as you can see, I have taken a different approach, mainly just so I can get the logic system working the way I want. I just want to see it in operation, and it seem to be doing all right. But I'm going to have to fix all this, and we'll see how we go. So I'll stick this on fast again. Okay, now the final touch. As you can see, that's the AND circuit that continues the whole logic process, and I can use that switch to turn it on and off. And as you can see, I've taken a completely different approach. I now have just button blocks or momentary switch blocks with delay blocks, and they just sequence through, and the sequence continues due to the AND circuit until I click the activation blocks to turn it off. And yeah, I could have just had these things attached to each original momentary switch. Right now I'm going to activate. See, as you can see, it just cycles through. I deliberately take it back to the original reset position. Now that's a configured option. So what I can do is I can revisit what I was trying to do with the Plex doors to give me the cartridge based programming technique. So it wouldn't be, I wouldn't have to worry about mechanical space or anything, room for the mechanical punch card style thing. I would just have a simple cartridge that lines up with the Irie activation blocks, or lines up the Plex doors, and I can just recreate that that blue ship, the ship that's all blue with the activation blocks on it, and dock it appropriately, then undock it while holding shift down to maintain its position, and then do the same as what I've done here. Just start it off, kick it off, and it will do whatever things I've programmed it to do. Now all this stuff can be condensed. I've just spread it all out just so that I can see all the logic, the way it's attached and the way it's functioning and connected. It helps me see everything more visually, a lot easier, as I hope you probably can see. And if you can use this same method in anything you want to do. It doesn't require anything special, just activation blocks or momentary switch blocks. I can't remember what they're called. I think they're just buttons. Anyway, there you have it. Now what I do here is I will just play around with the hand, seeing what I can do with it detached. Now the thing with these wireless blocks, they will continue to be connected as long as I stay in the sector. So once I disconnect the hand from the station, you'll see that it continues to operate. Okay. Now I only have the thumb moving. There we go, it's detached. And that's just to test my logic, basically, proof of concept. You see I can rotate the hand, no problems, because it's all wireless logic. It doesn't really matter where the control systems reside. So if I was to go with a torso with everything inside there, that would be fine, and it could be a ship as well. The fact that I have a station that it's docking to doesn't really matter. And the thumb, it doesn't quite look right, but that's because of the position of where I have the thumb. I need to move it, and I may need to shorten it as well. I'm not entirely sure. I basically use my own hand to gauge movement and positioning of the thumb and fingers, and I discovered just measuring my own fingers that the index, the middle fingers and the thumb are roughly the same length, even though they appear different. That I measured the distance between the joints on my own hand, and they seem to be roughly the same length. Sure, the finger that's next to my little finger is a lot thinner, but the distance of the joints is the same. And the only finger that is different from the rest, or that has a shorter distance between the joints, is my little finger, the pinky. Well, everyone has different hand structures, and I know that other people have different opinions on the way the hand should be laid out, but it's just what I observed from my own hand, and I only did that because I couldn't figure out how to place the thumb and the thumb joint and how it worked, and I realised that it's angled offset, like the main joint is offset further back, so I created an extra join or an extra joint and permanently set it on an angle. So that it is actually a movable joint, but I don't move it. I just leave it set there permanently and have that set position that it will always have the thumb on the appropriate angle. But I still need to move the thumb back a bit. Now what I'm trying to do here is I've moved the hand over to, I basically want the thumb to hit that object to see what will happen. I can't remember what that is. I think that's just an AI module that I created for my scout ship. And the main piece, well, the AI module was something I was using to test the activation blocks, because it has a area activation array in front that I use to remotely shut down the push effect drive system I have in my scout ship, and so I was using that as my testing while building the original mechanical area block system using the punch card method. But this shows me that the collision effect can be quite useful. See, once it hits, it does actually knock the ship out of position. So if I, once the hand is dressed properly, I'm theorizing that I should be able to grab objects, well, ships or whatever. And see, there we go. I just hit that blue ship there and the punch card piece, and it's all reacting. And I should be able to grab onto stations. Since they're stationary and they're locked in position, should be able to grab onto those, including the shops. So once I get the other fingers going, I'm going to give it a go. See if I can just grab things. But I have noticed that the collision system tends to make things repel or fly off or behave strangely. Now I've reconnected it back up because I'm going to try riding on the thumb just to see what the perspective is like from the thumb. Now, because the thumb is actually just a copy of one of the fingers, because the finger unit is actually the three joints, or the three segments I should say, saved as a finger, and then I just replicated them across the whole hand so I could just get the job done quicker. The whole thing is proof of concept. And the thumb, I had to trim the tip of the thumb so that its angular movement didn't lock when it touched the index finger, because I found that sometimes when I closed the thumb too far, it would embed itself inside the index finger, and then of course the whole mechanism would jam up. It wouldn't work. Yeah, there's a pirate station hiding down there. Right now I'm just going to do some cleanup. I'll do a retrieval of this ship, since I accidentally knocked it over here. And this is just something that I spawned to use as a reference for both size and something to later on toss around. It's also handy just flying around. I can dock things to it and drag them from here to there. Now, I think this Scout is my version 10. Looks like my version 10. My 10th iteration of the same, using the same shape, but I've moved logic, I've moved the created hatches and all sorts of random things. I was thinking of saving all these things to perhaps use later, but then I thought, nah, let's just get rid of it and clean the whole place up. But I have to say, that was not a good idea, because I've decided to revisit the external cartridge mechanism idea. Programmable cartridge. So that blue ship referred to that as a cartridge that I could just attach and detach. And basically I could replicate those and make different sequences, but I'll rebuild them in a different way. But the principle will be the same. I'll try and make a cartridge system that sort of works like the old school game cartridges in consoles, like the Sega Mega Drive, or other game consoles that use cartridges. Each one will have a program sequence, and then all I will need to do is just materialize the appropriate sequence that I want it to do and lock it into place. The other option it gives me is to have a bank of sequences already connected, and using the rails, I could use a mechanical rail system similar to what I did with the punch card to change the cartridges. So just go old school mechanically operated systems, similar to tape library systems that we have today. You have mechanically operated tape libraries where you've got a bank of, say, 20, 30, 40, 50 tapes, depending on what sort of tape library it is, and it can swap out the tapes based on a pre-configured library. Oh yeah, what I'm doing here with the ship is I've just attached the AI module and sent the ship on its own using the push effect. So it's effectively working on its own, and then the AI module activates when the area activation blocks detect the hand in front of it, and it shuts down the drive, and the ship will just eventually stop, and yeah. Okay, that's the end of my playing around, and thank you for watching.